Hey, kind people, what is going on? Covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. You are checking out a new RCWR show. 401mania.com reporter and columnist Lee Sanders with you guys once again as we're talking about that good old wow, women of wrestling fallout. And hey, man, I know we've been a little bit behind on a couple of episodes these past couple of weeks, but have I got some huge news to share with you guys in regards to that, as many of you in the DMV area will definitely be able to benefit from it. So make sure you stick around as I get to that big piece of news. It is some blockbuster game-changing news. So we know that in regards to the episode that was put out over the weekend, it was episode number 33. I sadly have not had a chance to check that episode out yet, but I will be checking it out on the YouTube channel. So don't be too surprised if later on this week you see a man come on back with another WoW recap. So for now, we're talking about episode 32, which, if you all remember, when we were chatting it up with the WoW champion herself, Penelope Pink, this card that they had lined up for that respected episode, it was huge. Because remember, in the main event, it was the Fabulous Four taking on the beautiful, the lovely Leah Makoa. We also had Tiki Chamorro. We also had, who else was in there? We had the Tonga twins, right? So we had all that was going on. The Island Dynasty, I think, is what they ended up being dubbed and everything. So that was a huge blockbuster 8-woman tag match and everything, right? So that was loads fun. And now the two WoW documentaries are out. Remember, we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago, and the history of WoW, that is now available on Pluto and everything. So that's great. So look, in regards to episode number 32, which we're going to be talking about here, like I said, we'll talk about episode number 33, which aired over the weekend of April 29th/30th. We had on episode number 32 Amber Rodriguez taking on Steffi Slays, everybody's favorite there in Steffi Slays. That reminds me, I believe I have a picture of Steffi Slays floating around, a signed picture of Steffi Slays. I've got to put that up on the wall already, man. But anyway, Amber Rodriguez taking on Steffi Slays. Steffi Slays picking up the victory via a backsliding pin. I like this matchup. You know, it feels really weird, and I don't know if it's just me. Maybe it's some of you guys as well. Sound off if it is, but it was so weird, this respected episode, seeing Amber Rodriguez by herself. Because we know she's been rolling with Gigi Gianni and everything, but this go round, seeing her just out there by herself, it just felt so naked. You know, she felt incomplete, did Amber Rodriguez. We got to remember, Amber Rodriguez, don't forget, she used to be under a different name and gimmick and everything when she was Commander Spars. Okay, so, and I appreciate the fact that David McLean and crew, they went on ahead and said, okay, you know what, we don't really need two people that are pushing military gimmicks. Let's just go on ahead, we'll have one person just, although I still feel that that would have been a great way to intertwine G.I. Jane and Commander Spars, because remember the idea I had several episodes ago, I kept mentioning it a few times as well. I said, what's the history here? Why is G.I. Jane so mad at Commander Spars? Remember when that infamous segment of a beatdown had came about, and I said, hey, maybe they both were on the same tour together when they were in the military. Maybe it's a case where G.I. Jane at one point had to answer ultimately to Commander Spars. I had all kinds of really cool ideas that could have laid out what's going on here if you wanted to build upon that friction, that hostility, that animosity between the two. But it seemed that David McClain and crew decided, no, we want to go in a different direction. And so, look, there's nothing wrong with Commander Spars ultimately becoming Amber Rodriguez and everything, but having her be out there by herself doing these one-on-one matches and everything, she just feels incomplete. So I really hope that we'll be seeing a lot more of her teaming up with Gigi, because they complement each other so extremely well and everything. And I tell you what, Amber seems to really rub off a lot more with Gigi as far as interacting with the crowd, being about the facial expressions, the physical theatrics and everything. You know, she could definitely continue to learn, to the whole point of what I'm saying there. No matter how long she may have been at it in wrestling and all that, there's always something to learn, I personally feel. That's just life in general. You should always be pushing yourself to learn, always striving to get better, never be complacent and all of that, you know, because the Amber Rodriguez I saw this go round in this one-on-one match against Steffi Slays, I gotta say, it was a little bit disappointing. Don't get me wrong. It was a solid match. And Steffi Slays doing her usual, working the crowd, getting them involved and everything. But I was expecting more in-your-face antics by Amber Rodriguez, and she did not deliver. It was just pretty much selling the moves was basically it for her. And Lord knows, depending on what wrestling promotions you're checking out on a weekly basis, we have enough of that as it is. We need emotional context, to quote the late Bruce Lee. Decent match, but as far as personalities really shining through in this one, Steffi Slays always delivers, but Amber very, very quiet in this one. Next up, we had, I was just talking about some of these girls to a friend earlier today, but we had some tag team action as the Disciplinarian, and I was just mentioning her, G.I. Jane. They were in tag action against Coach Campanelli and Randy Rara. Love this tag match. This wasn't the only tag match that we had on the card, by the way, because of course we had the main event attraction, which we'll get to in a little bit. But I love this tag match for what it was worth, but I wasn't really sure about the finish, because the finish to this one was a little bit hokey dokey. Okay, so we see at the very end the Disciplinarian gets from behind, who was it? Coach? No, it was Randy Rara. She got behind Randy Rara, and she puts a sleeper hold on Randy, and Randy has the whistle in her mouth, and as the sleeper is being applied to her, yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm going, if there was ever a time to just go on ahead and spit out the whistle, like now is the freaking time. Go ahead and spit that whistle out. And for whatever respected reason, Rara was not spitting that whistle out. So it had me wondering, because if they did play it, I missed it, right? And as I'm talking about this match right now, I am literally going on YouTube and I'm trying to see if maybe, just maybe, Samantha Smart really was that damn smart this go round, and she somehow managed to get glue on the whistle. Because remember, when Samantha Smart had first came out, she was showing that tube of glue, right? I was looking at that, by the way. I'm looking at that tube. I'm going, oh, well, sorry about that, guys. I'm looking at that. I'm going, that tube looks kind of familiar. I think I might have used that a time or two growing up, and I'll just let you guys fill in the blanks before I realized it was freaking, it was glue, right? Because I'm looking at the tube. I'm going, if that ain't toothpaste, oh boy, for relaxing intimate times, yeah, that's how I will leave it right there, right? Because we try to keep it clean and friendly on these shows, at least when we're covering Wild Women of Wrestling and everything. But I'm looking at that tube that Samantha Smart is bringing out, and then once I realize, oh, okay, it's glue, I'm going, well, shit, this is definitely going to somehow come into play. I just can't help but wonder if it's going to come into play here in this match and everything. So I would like to assume that in the final moments of this matchup, somehow Samantha Smart was able to get glue onto that whistle, and when Ra applied her lips to it, that pretty much was it. And then you've got the disciplinarian applying that submission hold, and Ra can't spit the whistle out, okay, because it's glued to her mouth, and she has no other choice because disciplinarian, to add more insult to injury, she's holding on to the nose. She is pinching the hell out of the nose, and you got Ra who's just, it's like nowhere to go, and Ra essentially passes out, right? So you're looking at that and you're going, okay, you know what? If that's how everything had played out, then you know what? All things considered, if that's how everything had played out, then you know what? All things considered, okay, that was booked extremely well. And I'm actually fast forwarding to that match right now because it didn't really translate that well when you were watching the match, seeing the final moments go down. And I'm actually there right now. Hang on, guys. I'm going to let this play in the background. I don't want to get no copyright. Yeah, so we're watching Randy Ra. She's gathering up her strength here. She sees Samantha Smart, who gets up on the side apron there. And Ra is continuing to blow the whistle. So let's rewind this a little bit because now disciplinarian has that hold on her. So let's rewind it back a little bit and let's see what's going on. So we got Coach Campanelli, who's about to tag in Randy Ra. Ra's looking for the tag. And let's see what's going on with Ra demanded to get the tag. Coach Campanelli, right? Can't believe what's going on here. So let's rewind this back just a tiny bit more. And let's see what's going on with that whistle. I'm trying to see. But by the way, I'm continuing to love the work of Coach Campanelli and Randy Ra. But I don't want to see the dissension I don't want to see that because they're honestly, of all the tag teams that's in WoW right now, they're absolutely one of my personal favorites. So here we go. Hang on. Rawa's got that whistle in her mouth. I'm going even earlier, and it's almost like it's a pacifier at this point. Let's see here. Ra still has the whistle. It's almost like this match started off with the whistle just in her mouth here. So hang on here. This is crazy, man. I'm looking at this. I'm going, wow, are you telling me my girl had the whistle in her mouth the whole time? And she essentially was trying to give Coach Campanelli a taste of her own medicine? Hang on here. Yeah, Coach Campanelli. Okay, hang on. All right, I'm going to rewind this back a little bit further here. And yeah, it looks like... Wow, are you serious? So the whistle has been in her mouth the entire time. Wait a minute. Wow, y'all gotta forgive me. I gotta play a little bit of y'all audio here because I'm having a hard time believing that my girl had the whistle in her mouth the entire time during this match and everything, and it never came out for nothing. Okay, so it was glued. So apparently it was glued. See, when I was watching this episode, I was actually watching it on YouTube because I sadly wasn't able to check out the actual full hour episode that gives you a little bit of in-between stuff that happens between the matches, especially if you missed out on something from the previous week. You'll get a nice little highlight. Okay, so now I'm caught up to speed. So then you know what? It was brilliant the way that finish had played out with the disciplinarian just pinching the hell out of that nose and essentially making Randy Rara pass out that way. Brilliant. I love that. I've never seen, to my point, I've never seen a finish like that go down before. And if it has, it's been a long, long time. So that was a really, really nice move that they did right there. Here's the thing, though. As I alluded to earlier, I hate when you have a little bit of friction in a tag team. Good friction is one thing, right? You know, but I didn't like seeing Randy Rara tag herself in there, Coach Campanelli, and you understand Coach Campanelli's concerns. Wait a minute, that whistle is still glued to your mouth. What the hell are you thinking? Not to mention, I was starting to rebound here. I was starting to get on a hot streak. I think I might have been able to seal the deal and wrap this up already. What the hell are you doing tagging yourself in here? What the hell? But so as long as it stays at that level, because they are one of the best acts that's going on as far as tag team goes. They're one of the best acts that's going on there right now. I personally feel chemistry, the whole 9 yards. Anytime they are doing some side stuff on social media, I look forward to it. They got some good stuff right there. I tell you what, they got some good stuff right there. But obviously, Coach Campanelli, Randy Rara, not done with the disciplinarian and G.I. Jane just yet. You know, you got to have the last laugh on Samantha Smart. So obviously they're going to continue this until, but at what cost? That's the thing. At what cost? Is it ultimately going to come at the expense of Coach Campanelli getting so frustrated that she and Rara can no longer get on the same page, that she goes, okay, you know what, I'm out of here, forget about this? You know, you kind of have to have that in the back of your head there. Meanwhile, Sylvia Sanchez and Vivian Rivera teamed up to go up against Jessica Jones and Americana. Now, I was not familiar with Sylvia Sanchez, so I actually had to do a little bit of research on her online, and she has wrestled mainly under the name of, hopefully I'm pronouncing this right, Micah or Mika? It looks like Micah, M-Y-K-A. And she's wrestled under that. She's also wrestled under Mika Madrid. She's wrestled under that as well. She's been at it for a good minute now. She's been at it for a little bit over 10 years, maybe almost 11 years, if that. And she's wrestled for a few different promotions. She's wrestled for OVW, NWA, not Billy Corgan's NWA, but more like NWA Mid-South, NWA Florida or something like that. She's done some work for. She made a pit stop on an episode of AEW Dark. She has been a little bit all over the place. So my point, though, she's been at it for a while. She's even done some stuff for Shine as well, PXW, SWE, just to name a few. So she's been at it for a good minute now. So I definitely would encourage you guys to, if you really still feel as though you haven't gotten quite a good feel of her, what she's capable of and everything yet, you know, you just feel that all you've gotten right now is a little bit of a teaser. Now that you know the name to look her up under online, go check out some of her stuff from these other promotions. You'll be quite impressed with her work and everything. But to my point, to have her team up with Vivian Rivera, and they're basically under the guidance, if you will, of Sophia Lopez. That's a nice little touch right there as well. I think that's definitely, yeah, look, I love Sophia Lopez. Anytime that you've got Sophia Lopez involved, yeah, we cannot sleep on Sophia Lopez, because even though Lana Starr is doing her thing right now, and she's got the Fabulous Four, and she's got all the championships on lockdown, we got to remember that Sophia Lopez she is still working her magic, behind the scenes, trying to get into that same position of power as well. I'm sure she's kicking back, looking at Lana Starr, going, "That's too much damn power." Hey, all I'm saying, don't be surprised if in the very near future we're going to see some type of Latina world order come to fruition and everything. I mean, Sofia Lopez, she's already got the right pieces of talent in place. You've got Vivian Rivera, you've got Sylvia Sanchez. We've seen Sofia work with Tormenta, okay? That's another one. Man, and if I'm not mistaken, I also believe Reina Del Rey is part of the Sofia entourage, ensemble, and all that as well. So there's another one that you can add in there. I feel as though there's one other name that I'm forgetting. It'll come to me when I least expect it. I can look at the roster while I'm continuing on with the recap and everything, and maybe that'll jog my memory that way. But I definitely feel as though I'm missing one more name. But you get the point that I'm making. You can easily just, oh yeah, that's who I was thinking. What if you maybe were able to do something there with Jennifer Flores, Gen Z? What if you were able to maybe do something with her? I mean, it's a long shot, but you could definitely, in storyline, you could definitely try and make a pitch. You could maybe make a pitch for Steffi Slays as well. I'm looking at the roster as we speak. But obviously, these last two girls that I mentioned, they may ultimately say, nah, I'm not about that. I'm not really interested in that. But, thanks for the offer anyway. And I can see them getting a serious beat down as a result of saying no. You feel where I'm coming from? I think Robbie Rocket is Latina. I'm not really sure on that though, but I would have to research that and follow up. But you get the point that I'm making, right? I mean, she could do her own version of the Fabulous Four or add more to the stable if she wanted to and all that. So don't be too surprised if in the very near future you're going to see those two stables with those great minds in the background in Lana Starr and Sofia Lopez come head to head and everything. I definitely think that would definitely get some fans pretty happy about that and everything. So Jessie Jones came out. My beautiful girl, Jessie Jones. Unfortunately, my girl was on a crutch, so she was not able to compete. Because remember the beating that she had got at the hands of the Heavy Metal Sisters. So unfortunately, she was unable to compete. So this had forced Americana to go one-on-one. So she would end up taking on Sylvia Sanchez. Nice matchup right there. That was a roll-up. It was a roll-up victory for Sylvia after Sofia Lopez took her trademark steel briefcase to the damaged leg of Jessie Jones in the final minutes of the matchup, as Jessie was trying to, help out her tag partner there in Americana, and got that briefcase to the kneecap there for her efforts, and that pretty much was the end of that. And from there, we saw Americana get taken advantage of with the distraction / roll-up victory right there. Good matchup for what it was worth. Main event match did not disappoint as far as I was concerned. The Fabulous Four. Lana Starr in the background there. I mean, that whole entourage of goodness that you got going on. You got the champ herself, Penelope Pink. You've got Sweet Miami Heat, right? The Carlson twins. You've got Vicky Lynn McCoy. I love me some Vicky Lynn McCoy. She's awesome. Going up against the Tonga twins, Liea Makoa, Tiki Chamorro. That was a fantastic tag match for what it was worth. And I like the fact that we had the Island Dynasty go over, because what that creates is, is this possibly a taste of things to come? Because when you're looking at the Island Dynasty, you're going by default. Many of us were thinking, well, shoot, this is a no-brainer that as far as future Wild Tag Champions go, it's going to be the Tonga twins. we were looking at when Beast got injured, and unfortunately she had to relinquish the Wild Championship. A lot of us were going, well, hell, man, Leah Makoa, if not her, then maybe Princess Aussie. And as we all saw, I ain't seen nobody say, actually, no. I did say Penelope Pink, believe it or not. And I'm not just saying that because, she showed us a lot of love and we had a great conversation with her a couple of weeks ago. But I do remember once I found out the news about Leah Makoa, remember she got injured, so she wasn't able to do the tournament and all that. I do remember going, okay, well, why not slide Penelope Pink in there if anybody's ready? That homegirl definitely is. After I thought for sure Leah Makoa or Princess Aussie. But yeah, but I mean, you look at all of those girls that I'm talking about, and you're going, yeah, tag champions for sure. Women's champion, oh yeah, for sure, right? So you're looking at all of that, and the way that you've got this playing out right now with these two factions, it's awesome. It's honestly one of the main attractions. It's one of the best highlights for Women of Wrestling, is seeing these two factions continue to go at it and everything. And here's what's even more interesting when you really stop and think about this. Now, the tag champions, they were protected because remember at the end, Tonka Twins, they got the victory on the enforcer, Vicky Lynn McCoy. They did not get a pinfall or a submission win on the tag champs or the world champion herself. So I thought it was interesting how they had protected those respective set of champions, but you still have enough of a claim and storyline if you're kind of following this and seeing the Island Dynasty say, hey, since we were victorious, we should definitely be, considered for number one contendership for the tag titles and I can just see Lana Starr and them trying to say, no, we're not doing that. But then maybe David McClain say something along the lines of, no, tell you what, Tonga Twins, if y'all win this match, then yeah, you'll definitely get a future shot at the tag titles. Hey, Leah Makoa, and tell you what, y'all will be involved in, y'all win this, then y'all can definitely take on, right? I can see something like that definitely playing out as we move forward to the next episode onwards with Wild Women of Wrestling and everything. Now, don't forget, in regards to the card for this past week's Wild Women of Wrestling, which I'll talk about here on the show in a couple of days, probably no later than Wednesday. Gigi Gianni takes on Jennifer Flores. Meanwhile, Candy Crush and Princess Aussie team up to go against Team Exile, Exodus and Genesis. Meanwhile, Chantilly Chella and Kita Rush join forces to take on the Monsters of Madness. That's Holiday and Siren the Voodoo Doll. And we've got in the main event a no DQ match as Reina Del Rey takes on Wrecking Ball, Fury, and Razor. It is a fatal four-way. So this is going to be very, very, very interesting because Fury and Razor of the freaking Heavy Metal Sisters, to see them be involved here in a fatal four-way. You would like to believe they're all definitely going to continue to work together, but at what cost, right? So looking forward to that. Now, there's some interesting big news that I want to share with you guys in regards to Wild Women of Wrestling. I know that for a lot of you guys, and this really goes out to those of you that are in the DC metropolitan area, so shout out to my DC, Maryland, Virginia residents. I know a lot of you guys, unless you have maybe possibly Verizon Fios. I know for sure Verizon Fios will have the CW50. I'm not quite sure about, actually, you know what? And what better way I can tell you then by actually typing in the zip code to check out the local listings here, which I'm doing right now on the WOW website. If you ever want to know if WOW is available in your local listings, as soon as you go to WOWE.com, there's a section on the top and you can put in your zip code and it'll show you everything, right? So as it stands right now, for my people in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, your options are very, very, it doesn't look good. So, for example, if you're in Clarksburg, the channel for you is WVFX-CW, Sundays at 5 p.m., and then there's a second showing at 11:30 p.m. If you're in the Washington, D.C. area, then you get the CW50, known as WDCW, Saturdays at 2 p.m. If you're in the Baltimore area, your channel is WNUV, and that's Saturdays at 10 p.m. So it's a matter of, hey, does your respected cable satellite provider in Xfinity, Verizon Fios, DirecTV, do they even carry the CW, right? It just really depends. But if you are a YouTube TV subscriber, great news for you, effective as of at least this week. Talk about a great way to kick off the new week. You guys now have access to the CW50. That's right, the WDCW 50, channel 50. You guys now got access to it. So you can catch up on the final season of The Flash. You can watch new episodes of frickin' the Steve Wilkos Show. Watch vintage episodes of Jerry Springer or Murray, okay? All that good stuff, right? So I was quite surprised kicking off this week when I was just flipping through the channels, and the way I have mine set up, I have through YouTube TV, all the local channels is arranged, so pretty much Fox, NBC, I've got all that at the top. And the very first thing that I see is the CW50. I'm going, wait a minute. The hell is this? And I'm thinking maybe it's an on-demand channel or something. I go in, I check it out, and it turns out, nope, this is the actual channel. So then I just scrolled forward days in advance trying to see how the schedule was looking and everything. You get a really good sense of the program lineup. And then I said, well, hell, let me see if I can find Women of Wrestling. Sure enough, I see that the next new episode that is supposed to drop in syndication, is going to be Saturday at 2 p.m. So what this means going forward for you guys is, Saturdays, I definitely will be able to sit down. I'll be able to come on live, and I'll be able to give you guys my reactions to the newest episode of Women of Wrestling. Because the way it's been working right now with me, unfortunately, is I normally would have to wait until late Sunday nights going into Monday morning to be able to watch that weekend syndication new episode of Women of Wrestling. And by then, like, a decent amount of people have already checked it out or whatever, right? Or maybe people just aren't interested because it's so late now. They've already moved on to the next thing, what have you. So this is a game changer definitely for me, not just as a fan of the promotion, but also as a content creator as well. Nothing has been pleasing me more than checking out Wild Women of Wrestling, being on top of the coverage and everything. So this just means it'll be even that much tighter going forward and everything. So there will be rare occasions where I'll actually be able to get episodes out, post shows, my reactions and all that. I'll be able to get them out an hour after it's premiered. There'll be some Saturdays where I'll be live. But then there'll be other Saturdays where I'll probably be preoccupied with work or classes, and I won't be able to put something out until Saturday night. But it's loads better than waiting until late Sunday night, Monday morning, or Monday afternoon, things of that nature. So, and look, this is a game changer for us, because for YouTube TV, this is something that we've been wanting access to for some years now. There's a couple of other channels that we're still eyeing, going, okay, when is this coming to YouTube TV? Of course, Me TV. I gotta have Me TV. I miss seeing on weekends Svengoolie and doing his hokey dokey slapstick comedy while introducing the movie in between commercial breaks, talking trash, all that stuff. Love Svengoolie, man. I love that freaking dude. So look, if you still have not gotten WOW for your respected cable, satellite, TV app provider, definitely let WOW hear about it on social media. And also, whoever that provider is that you're going to for your TV hookup, message them. And I think it's one of those cases where the more people that are jumping out there, being vocal about it, they do listen to the feedback. It definitely helps. And I know that as far as the CW goes and a couple of other channels for us YouTube TV subscribers, hey, when is this coming? What's going on? How come all these other joints can get it, but we don't get it? What's going on? So, nice, good piece of news for you, my familia in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. So we're going to stick a fork in it. We're going to call this episode DONE done, but I'll be back with you guys to talk about what went down with episode 33 of Wild Women of Wrestling in a day or so. It'll be available on YouTube, and we'll make that audio version be available wherever you get your podcasts. If it's your first time here, welcome. Pleased to meet you. Nice to know me. Do me a huge favor. If you enjoyed the content, all it takes is one like. Just one like. It's free. So make sure you smash the like, subscribe for great content and more. As far as programming notes go, I will not be with you Monday night after Raw goes off the air. I know that it's the continuation of the WWE draft. I am preparing for final exams, and as a result of that, I have some papers that I've got to fine tune that are due this week and everything. So I really got to be all hands on deck when it comes to my classes. Wednesday is pending. Depending on what all I'm able to get done between Monday night and Wednesday will depend. So just stay connected to me on social media, Twitter, Facebook at the RCWR Show, also YouTube on the Communities tab, and I'll definitely do my best to keep you guys posted and everything. All right? Until next go round, wishing all of y'all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another, and I will see you guys next go round. Adios, y'all. Take care.